Good
Hey
evening,
everyone, welcome
everyone.
to tonight's training. Tonight we've got Neil. Neil's going to do the training. Take it away, Neil.
Sorry, man, I jumped in there way too quickly. Can you tell I'm kind of
Way too
enthusiastic to
quickly.
get this going, right? How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great, Neil. Thanks for asking.
Sorry about that, man. I was just like ready to go. Okay, so hi everyone. Great to have you with us this evening on our Thursday night training. It's been a great week. I hope you guys had a wonderful Easter weekend and feeling refreshed and vibrant, and been having a great week with regards to the business. As you've kind of got to know, Thursday nights we focus on helping each other out with regards to general training within our business, things that we're learning as a team, things that we can pass on. And this week I really just wanted to focus on a little bit on the mindset side of things, but the majority of what I want to talk about this evening is really about goal setting. In terms of our goals, what we're looking to achieve, how we go about achieving them, but kind of putting them into practice can sometimes be a little bit more of a challenge. So it's something in terms of all the aspects of the business is just as key, but I've been focusing on a lot on the last sort of week and a half. So I really just wanted to share some pointers with you guys this evening. Hopefully they'll help you. Some may just allow you to rejig things, maybe look at things slightly differently. Love to get Mikey's input about halfway through. And Mikey, if we've got any questions or success stories, I'd love to hear those. We'll kind of just break midway, and then I'll carry on and see how we do towards the end. So let's go. So in terms of, I just touched on very quickly mindset. In terms of my next scheduled training, that's something that I'm going to want to elaborate on a little bit more. Not so much this evening, but I just want to touch on it very quickly because it's very key in terms of setting your goals. And, we speak about goal setting, and we're going to go into more of that this evening, as I mentioned. But if your mindset isn't in the zone, your goals are going to suffer. So you can have all these goals in terms of the alignment of your business and where you're wanting to get to, but if things aren't really working for you upstairs, it's going to be that much tougher. So, we allude to it often, but mindset is absolutely everything. So, I just want to give you a very quick example. I was forced into having an emergency back operation in January. Came out of the blue, didn't know what had gone on, what had happened. Found myself in hospital. And initially I took it really badly. I didn't take it too well in terms of my mindset. It was my third back operation. I thought third time lucky. Actually, it felt like the complete reverse. It was just a horrible period for me. But I allowed the process to affect my mindset in terms of me getting better, and that just naturally then didn't allow me to focus on and develop my business. I'm talking about post-operation as quickly and as well as I'd hoped. And when I look back on it, a lot of it had to do with what was going on upstairs. Most important to my rehabilitation was the fact that I needed to actually get out and start getting fit again. But that was the hardest part. And the biggest struggle for me was first thing in the morning, trying to get up, trying to get mobile. And so I kind of found ways, as we do, to tell myself, if you like, that it was okay for me not to be as mobile as I was. And guess what? That just meant that in terms of my getting better, moving forward, took a lot longer. But you know what? I then focused on my mindset and how we were doing our business before all this happened in January. And I really focused on the power of the mind in terms of taking all those so-called negatives and putting them into small positives, just bite-sized chunks. I'm not talking about taking the whole picture at once and going, right, okay, well, this is how it's been and this is how it's going to be now. You've got to break it down into manageable segments so that you can actually feel like you can process them. And I'm gonna talk about that a little bit more in terms of goal setting. But cut a long story short, I just want to tell you very quickly, 14th of January, I had this emergency operation, okay? It took me until about 4 weeks ago to get into a position where I felt what I was doing in terms of that pre-operation, in terms of my mindset. I was flying, I was loving life, things were going well. We love the business, but we're humans and things happen. But that just hit me in a way that I wasn't prepared for. But instead of focusing on keeping a steely mindset and focusing on all that work I'd done to prepare myself and getting my business to that point, carrying on growing, I let it slide. And in your business, if you allow that to do, that to happen emotionally on a personal level, that can affect your business, right? Because if you're not in the zone, if you don't have the headspace, it affects everything around you. And I was in a position basically when at my lowest ebb with regards to the operation that I was effectively doing about, I'd say, 10 to 15 meters in terms of walking. Okay, so to cut a long story short, to give you an idea, between now and 4 weeks ago, I'm walking 6 Ks a day, 6 kilometers. And that for me is huge because it's gone from 10 to 15 steps to 10 to 15 meters in terms of getting out of bed, walking around the house, doing my little troll around the garden, trying to stretch, to getting into this position of at least about a 6K walk every day. And guess what? That's just meant that everything has come from a negative perspective into a positive perspective. And my mind is just rock solid in terms of where I want to be and where I'm going with everything that I'm doing, especially with regards to this business. So I hope that makes sense. I haven't blabbled on too much about that, but mindset is absolutely key. I get out now and I go for this walk and I am buzzing. It feels like the trees are talking to me in the park. It feels like the grass is greener. It feels like I've got air in every single step that I'm taking. Everything feels like an absolute pleasure rather than like I was getting out and saying, gee, I can't do this. You've got to focus and just make sure that you enjoy it and turn the negatives into positives. So with regards to goal setting, I've just got a few points here that I want to throw in the mix, and hopefully they'll resonate with you guys. So you've got to really understand how to control your mindset and get leverage on yourself and think properly so that you can take action. So I've kind of mentioned that in the beginning here, but that is so key, because with that positive mindset comes positive action, and then things start to fall into place. And just like I alluded to the fact that if I'm walking out and thinking, oh, my leg is sore, or I can't do this, I can't do that, walk out and say, do you know what, this is great because I'm able to get out and it's fresh air and spring is in the air. Whatever the positives are that you can draw from your environment, do that and then build on that, because guess what? It'll have a positive influence on your goal setting. So when we talk about goals, and this is something that we focus on as a group and is invaluable, when we talk about setting goals, what we tend to do is set unrealistic goals, right? And then what happens is things start to fall down a little bit because we can't achieve those goals. So when I mention the fact that we focus on bite-sized chunks, it's exactly that. When I went from that process of 10, 15 steps to over 6 kilometers a day, I didn't go from there to 6 Ks. It's a case of breaking it down bit by bit and then moving slowly in the right direction. And the same applies to physical activity, as Tim often uses reference to, the coaching. It's a constant coaching, a constant molding, a constant performing, and then, moving up step by step. So it's got to be done in bite-sized chunks, but in a realistic way, so that they're not unrealistic, because that's just gonna make things fall down. And I love one of the examples that we get given in this team, in the sense that you may want to earn 10 grand a month, 100 grand a month, whatever the case may be, or I want that Aston Martin. I want that Aston Martin. I want that Aston Martin. But it's not just gonna appear. It's not just gonna appear in the drive. You have got to have an action plan together in terms of your goal settings, and understand how you're going to be getting from that process in terms of sitting, driving, having that Aston Martin. There's got to be a process in terms of your goal setting, right? So in terms of that plan of action, as I said, it's got to be a step-by-step, process that leads you to the results that create that scenario. So it could be the income, or it could be the car, it could be the house, but there's got to be a process. And what I loved about what we've been taught here and what we're learning to elaborate on all the time is that we've got to put them into these steps which are achievable. So just think about that for a second. Achievable goals. I was just talking to someone this week. Said to me, Neil, I've been in this process in terms of trying to get to this position of getting this new house, and I've put the processes in place for years and years and years, and I can't get there. And when I spoke to him in depth and understood the journey he had taken, or the journey he was trying to take to get there, man alive, the process from the house that he is into the house that he's looking to get and how he's trying to get there was just unrealistic. It was just really, really unrealistic. It was like him going from a 1970s Mini car to a 2016 Aston Martin, right? So just trying to put it all into perspective. So we spoke about quickly, unrealistic goals, being way above what they've ever, what people are looking to accomplish. The second is that people do not put the goals in writing. Now, I didn't do this in the beginning. I was like, oh, Grow Pros, my 10, gee, these guys are amazing. This is awesome. And these are going to be my goals. And I had it up here. Okay. So I kind of knew where we wanted to go and how we were going to get there, but I didn't write them down. And so in terms of everything that's going on, because let's be honest, it's a bit of an information overload, especially if you're coming into this business new, or even if you've been in the business before. Mike's often spoke about his previous companies. In terms of that goal setting, if it's not in writing, it's not something that you can then focus on and deliver on a daily basis. So absolutely critical. Get it in writing, get it in front of you, get it in, get it within your grasp on a daily basis so that you can focus on it on a daily basis and plot your progress. Coupled with that is a completely, separate training on itself, but people don't visualize them. And for a while, again, I didn't get the process of visualizations. I know, Mike, again, we often speak about it. We have great conversations about it. But those three things in terms of then coming to the aspect of visualizations is absolutely key. And do you know what, guys? When you get it in terms of the visualizations, guess what? It becomes habitual. Habitual, you say? Yeah, habitual. So when my feet touch the ground in the morning, and you know exactly what's going on, you know exactly how your day is going to pan out, because it becomes absolutely habitual for you in terms of processes. And you know exactly what it is that you're going to be looking to achieve and how you're going to be going about achieving that. So absolutely, absolutely key. And so in terms of all of these things, a fourth point, if you like, is to make sure that they are done consistently, because then that becomes habitual. And guess what? It's kind of the whole mix in terms of, G often refers to it as the ingredients of a cake. Guess what? Yeah, I remember things about ingredients of a cake. But, if we're making it consistent and we're following through the processes that we've discussed, guess what? It starts to become habitual and natural, but it has to be done daily, and can't just be a one-off. So that's absolutely key in terms of the process. And I hope that makes sense for part one. Mikey?
Yes, that absolutely makes sense. And I was the same way. When you first read Think and Grow Rich, and he kind of sets out how to put your goals together, but all those goals are way out here, right? I'm going to make $5 million within 2 years or whatever else. And so 2 years goes by and you don't make your $5 million, then what? It's just a negative. So the way Tim teaches it, and there's if you haven't already gotten your visualizations or you don't know what they are, you can log into the MML system. You should be on that. And there's the visualization blueprint is right in there. Work with your mentor and get those down to the things that work for you. Okay, it's not for what works for me or Neil or anyone else. It's what works for you. That's the most important thing. I didn't know what that was when I first got going either. My visualizations, I kind of wrote them out, and they weren't really, I wasn't really happy with them, and I wasn't spending the 30 minutes a day doing it. But I built into it, right? And then I sent what I had off to Tim, and I said, Tim, this is what I have. Can I tweak these somehow? Sure enough, he sent me responses and said, yeah, I would do this and this and this. And he even changes the wording. Like, Tim is so about the mindset that he changed some of the wording in my visualizations to make them more positive, to make them more to the point, right? So it's even the words that you're saying. Remember, that's what's going into your subconscious, right? So they need to be powerful words, and they need to go to the right energy that you're trying to create. So like you said, positive mindset creates positive action, and that's right. Like, as soon as you get out of bed, boom, you should be ready, raring to go, right? As soon as I get up, I have a coffee and I start doing my visualizations, and that's what it is. So for some people, maybe you've had some setbacks, maybe you've gotten off the program, you're not really doing the visualizations. Just get back on it, right? It's not something, it's like anything else, right? You might fall off the wagon a little bit, but just get back on it and get back on track. The small attainable goals, that's key as well. And those goals are anything to how many contacts you're going to make a day, how many interviews you're going to have a day, how many business partners you want to put in per month, and be realistic with everything, right? And what you want to do with your visualizations is tweak them regularly, right? Because you're going to start attaining some of these smaller goals, or if they're just not right, then maybe you need to tweak those anyway. But it should be looked at on a regular basis, maybe weekly, maybe bi-weekly, maybe at least once a month. Have a look at them and tweak them to where you're at. And like Tim says, when you hit one of your goals on a regular basis, increase it by 20%. Like 1 week, hey, I'm gonna contact 100 people a day. So you hit that, and then you want to bump it up by 20, then go to 120 until you attain that goal. And then that way, when you're hitting your small attainable goals, you can give yourself a pat on the back, and it's a good feeling because you're actually doing the things that you're working towards, and that's a reward. If you keep writing down goals that you can't attain, you're just beating yourself up, and you don't need to, right? It's not a positive way to do it. I did want to say that I am getting that Aston Martin. It is in my goals, but it's my long-term goals, right? And with this business, like anything else, I saw a quote down here earlier that somebody posted about getting the flow going, right? Getting that momentum happening. You got to look at this like anything else is like a jet plane on takeoff. When does that thing expel the most amount of energy? When it's trying to take off. Here's this, 1-ton thing trying to get off the ground, and that's when the engines are all wound up and it's just but as soon as it's up in the air and it's floating along, they can run on one engine. They can shut one down completely and run on half track on the other one. It's all about getting that energy going, and it's about, like you said, consistency. When you're consistent, you're going to feel better about yourself. If you're on and off and on and off and on and off and on and off, you're causing your own confusion, for one, and it's also going to cause you to be unsure of what you're doing. You're not going to be hitting your targets the way you want, and then that's going to cause you again to start feeling bad. And that's not what it's all about, right? You need the support of the group here. So that's why you tie into these, doing those getting your goals down. You can write down the goals, your long-term goals, right? You want this fancy mansion, you want the Aston Martin or the Range Rover or whatever it is, you want to retire your spouse, but understand that that's out here. It takes time to get there. So how are you going to get there? You're going to break it down into little chunks. It's kind of like they say, it's how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. And you just kind of...
Oh, no, we don't need elephants, Mike. We don't need elephants.
Yeah, they're yummy, aren't they?
Do we have any questions or any comments?
Yeah. We have, how do you keep positive? Do you have any easy tips that can help you when you're feeling uninspired?
Yeah, I do, but I'll answer that now in the second part, if that's okay. So it'll cover what I'm just about to say. So if that's okay. So before I chuck into the second bit, is there anything else?
No, that's it.
Cool. Okay. Well, yeah. That's all great, Mike. You actually said most of the stuff I was going to say, so I think we should just pack up and go. No. So yeah, absolutely. I think one of the most important points there that you mentioned, which is absolutely key, is it's individual, right? I think one of the things that you can easily get swamped up with is the fact that when you come into the business, and when we first spoke to you back last year, but when we first came into the business, I think naturally a lot of people think and feel, oh, Mike, look at them. They're they're talking to me about the visualizations and the goal setting, and they clearly they steaming it. But everyone has challenges. Everyone has to reset. Everyone has to reevaluate. And so it's really important, like you say, to focus on you. Focus on you. It's very easy, and I get this, that we can look at Tim, our mentor, and go, well, that's all great, but you're smashing it, but I can't see myself there at the moment. That's not what it's about. Like you say, it's about breaking it down into bite-sized chunks so that you focus on yourself, focus on your situation, your scenario that you find yourself in is going to be completely different to Tim or me or Mikey, whatever the case. So focus on you, start with you and work with you. That's really, really, really key. So let me just crack on in terms of the points the other points I've written down here. Just to recap, setting a very realistic and doable goal. We focus in terms of GrowPros, and what we've learned here is, like Mike's just said, let's say you've got yourself into a pattern of small goal setting, just bite-sized chunks that you're starting to achieve. Doesn't that feel great? Doesn't that just fill you with like the biggest like positive energy ever? And so what you want to do is capture that momentum, take it in, but then start building on it, but be realistic about it. And what we often refer to here is then setting those goals in addition to 20% more. So you achieve your goal, add 20% of what you're achieving to that, okay, as your next goal. In terms of moving the next stage forward, okay? Because when you do this, your confidence will increase, and this leads to so much more production, okay? And you really want to make sure that you are riding that wave, okay? So when you set small goals and accomplish them on an ongoing basis, you start to expect success because you know what it tastes, looks, feels like, okay? Which leads to confidence and clarity. And guess what, guys? With confidence and clarity comes attraction. People are attracted to confidence and clarity. So this is really, really key. It's really, really key. People are attracted to confidence and clarity. And in terms of these last few weeks, we've focused on all aspects of our business. But I can tell you what the attraction, which what G was talking about last week, has been tenfold in terms of people just you guys have changed, or I noticed a slight change in your attitude, or Neil, which meds are you on today? And it's like, actually, I'm on no meds whatsoever. So yeah, it's just really, really awesome. But just bite-sized chunks, guys. And like we've said this evening, don't worry about needing to reevaluate and reassess. Rather do that until you get into a zone that you're comfortable with, but take action. Don't let it just fester, because it'll get into your mind that it's okay, or I'll do it tomorrow. We talk about making it habitual. As you put your feet down on the ground, on the floor in the mornings, and you're having your quiet time, doing whatever it is that you do without the alarm clock, you then focus on that process that you've set in place, and make sure that you can achieve it so that you can move forward in terms of these points that we've discussed. So I'll just kind of summarize this, if I may, in terms of what we've discussed this evening. So in terms of your goals, take them in bite-sized chunks on a daily basis. Daily basis, absolutely critical, okay? Get up, have that day's goals firmly in focus, do them, go through the process, and then you go to bed, okay? So it's kind of this rinse and repeat that we often refer to, okay? Get up, have that day's goals firmly in focus, make sure you achieve them, before you hit the sack, okay? Too many people set their goals 6 months or a year out. You know, Mike and I have been talking about, okay, I'm definitely getting that Aston, I'm definitely getting that Mini, or I'm definitely whatever it is. But you've got to make sure that it's realistic. Baby steps, bite-sized chunks, okay? Too many people set their goals 6 months or a year out. That's not going to work. It is not going to work, okay? The most important goal in all of this is your daily goal. So in terms of everything we've spoken about, it's making sure that you achieve that daily goal, because then, like me and my little exercise from 15 meters to 6 kilometers, you can get to that, okay? How often have you found yourself in a position where you've looked at the leaders, let's just say in this industry, and you go, oh, I can see those guys have major success, but I just, you know, I can't see it. Do you think that they not went through a process? That's why we talk about mentoring being so key, working with people like Tim and this team. You need to learn and understand and process those steps, but it starts with a daily goal. Ask Tim, ask the guys who've been in the business for a while. It's making sure they're ticking off the small stuff, the daily goals. Absolutely, absolutely vital. Put your daily goal back to back to back, and you will achieve your weekly goal. Is that an aha moment for someone? It was for me initially, because I was like, oh yeah, okay. But if I do this on a daily basis, guess what? I get to the end of the week, and boom, I've looked at the chart, looked at my visualizer, and it's just going swimmingly. How did that happen? Because you're following the daily, putting it back to back to back. And guess what? Week becomes a breeze. A week becomes so quick. A month becomes so quick. And then all of a sudden, everything is moving in the right direction. So when you put those weeks, excuse me, back to back to back, you can meet your monthly goals. So daily, weekly, monthly. And we've really found that this has given us so much momentum that you can take that all and run with it, you know, run with it. But most importantly, I found this so important when I found myself going through a bit of a dip, and we all do, guys. I just want to say very quickly, don't beat yourself up if you find that you go through ups and downs. I'd be pretty worried if all you said to me was, my roller coaster is always at the top, it's never at the bottom, because, you know, it's life. We get thrown curveballs, we get thrown, you know, things that challenge us, but that's okay. But if in terms of hitting those lows, you've been in the best, you know, best situation with regards to your scenario, your mindset, your goal setting, guess what? It's a lot easier to go back to, and it'll help you through the process. So just acknowledge that it's okay if, you know, you're going through a bit of a tough time, but there's nothing wrong with that. It's about taking whatever you find in terms of being negative or tough and turning them into the positives. And again, that is where a group like this and mentoring is so vital and so key, okay? And just remind yourself that it's not only you, okay? All of us experience this, all of us, the guys at the top down to the guys that are starting out. So it's all of us. All right, so personal momentum recap here. Start with a realistic first month goal, okay? And if you like, in terms of what we've discussed, it's all new to you, break that down into the daily, weekly, okay? But add 20% to that per day, week, month, and then start to build on that, okay? Visualize it. Visualize it, take action, and repeat, okay? Visualize it, take action, and repeat, okay? And then in terms of you breaking that down, if we're talking about a week, if you're taking daily goals, adding 20%, moving it through the week, guess what? You've got 100% increase, 100% increase just for that week. So when you expect success, you achieve it. When you send out those vibrations in terms of, I'm your man, you need to come work with me, and people are attracted to that, guess what? It starts to fall into place. So I hope that's helped. It certainly helped me in terms of, as I say, kind of a little bit of a rocky patch that I went through in January with my health, but having the Steely mindset and going through that process with this team and with Tim prior to that really set me up in such a great way that could help me get through it. and back to where I want to be now. And you know what? Oh, it feels freaking amazing. So that's where you want to be, so that when you hit these, hit with these curveballs, or you need to look to reassess and reestablish your goals, it's okay, because it comes naturally. And most importantly, guys, you need to take action. But when you're taking action, have fun, with a capital F-U-N. Have fun doing what you're doing. In the beginning, I felt that the business could be slightly overwhelming, and if I wasn't doing this, and this, that I wasn't achieving my goals. But it's a new business, well, if you're new to it, or if you are just starting out, even if you're a bit more established, have fun. We are having so much fun, and it is great, and it feels great. So if you're able to achieve these bite-sized chunks, get yourself into a rhythm and have fun, man, we'll see you at the top.
Awesome stuff, man. So there was one question for you.
Cool. Oh, yes. Did I answer that question?
Nope, that's a new one. Is there anything you say to yourself at the start of the day to ensure that you're in a good place to get the results you want?
Okay, what's really important for me, because people are asking me this, so it's a personal question to myself, and I'm going to give you a personal answer. When my feet touch the ground in the morning, I thank the Lord for today. Okay, for me, that's really important, because I'm so grateful to be given another day. Okay, but you know what? I know that today is going to be better than yesterday. And yesterday was friggin' awesome. So today is going to be even better. So to answer the question, I'm basically saying to myself, not only am I taking 5 minutes just to be grateful for my surroundings and thankful for what I have, very, very important to me, but at the same time, that because yesterday was so brilliant, today is going to be even better. And because I was able to achieve my daily goals yesterday, I'm definitely going to be able to achieve my goals today. So thankfulness and appreciation, and then focusing on getting my mindset right to make sure that I smash the goals I've set out for myself today.
Very cool. And I just want to leave it with this. This is a little bit more I've learned about Tim. Tim is relentless. He is absolutely relentless. He doesn't stop. That's why he's up at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's how he is. So you want to follow someone that's been to the top and that's taken another team to the top, that's who you learn from. Tim has a plan every day, and when he's way back in the day, when he was just calling, when he was cold calling businesses, this is what he did. He would sit down and he would cold call businesses all day long. He had a certain number that he needed to reach, and he wanted it done by Friday afternoon, so it'd be done. And that's what he would do. And he basically had his daily plan. He would make those phone calls, and he'd make sure he'd have those numbers in, and he reported to himself that was it. So that's how you do it. You just need to be relentless at it and have fun with it as well. So on that note, buddy, when you had your surgery, I didn't know you had a bad back. I didn't know any of that stuff. But when I heard about it and I heard that you had the emergency surgery, my mind immediately said, that's going to be the best thing for you. That's what I thought. I didn't feel, oh, poor Neil.
No, and that's an important point. I guess hopefully I explained it well enough. But what I was trying to say there was, because it was my third back operation, I thought, yeah, I'll be good in no time, and I'll be back on picking up my goals where I left them. And so I just wanted to share with people that, because I don't like often talking about the personal scenarios, but it's just important because it was a big challenge for me. And I love sharing with people that we're all human, and we all have these challenges. And I thought, oh, third back operation, yeah, used to the first two. I know what to expect. It was very different. But you know what? It's about taking that negative into a positive and telling yourself, A, it's going to be okay, and B, we're going to rock this thing.
Very cool. So why don't we wind it up for the night, and everybody can have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.
Yeah, take care, everyone. Lovely to see you this evening. Bye.
See you guys.